Hello,
Hi,
my name is Elijah.
Elijah. I'm Eliza.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I see that you have been a patient of Dr. Lee's and he referred me to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what brings you here today?
I was recently arrested for possession of some illegal substances, so kind of not really willing to be here, but kind of like thankful that this gives me the opportunity to start like a new chapter of my life.
So, what started out with your illegal substance abuse?
I just had like a really bad like childhood. I had like a really abusive father. He emotionally, physically, and sexually abused my mother and I. So kind of looking for a way to numb that. I like started with like marijuana, like a lot of kids experiment with, and it just kind of progressed into like harder drugs. And like right now, my main problem is like a cocaine addiction that it's really just consumed my life.
So, you're saying since your father abused you, you had to find a coping method. So, drugs were the way for you to go. It just helped you feel better about situations and not think about it so much.
Yeah, I just kind of like when I was like doing drugs, like it just put me in like a different place. And when I like used them, I was with like friends who I thought that really cared about me, unlike my like father. So really just like helped remove me from that situation. But obviously, like when the effects wear off, I'm left feeling like alone again. So that's why I started becoming like more into harder drugs as I got older.
What do you see effective with the drugs for you?
Just like I said, like just kind of like giving me like an escape, like for that few minutes or like hour that I feel like that high, like it's an escape from like everything that I feel. It's kind of like a numb, like I don't have to care anymore.
Are there any things that you see that you would maybe not condone with pertaining to the legal substance?
I mean, like, do you mean like why should I not do them?
Let me elaborate a little bit for you. More as to, do you see any negatives relating to your personal life with illegal substance abuse?
Okay. I mean, personally, like it's really hard like to like find like work because like I constantly like need that fix now. So obviously you can't like do drugs at work. So just like having to miss work because of that, like just needing the drugs and just like for my health, like I've noticed like my health deteriorating as I get older because of like the drugs that I've used. They're just not very good for me.
Well, it's good that you're seeing signs and symptoms that seem in relation to the drugs and that you need help with fixing it. And I want to assure you that we are here to do as much as we can to help you with it. So, let's start back in the past again. When did you start using illegal substances?
I would say I started like experimenting with marijuana when I was about like 13 or 14 years old. Just like with my like middle school friends, it was something cool to do after school. I'm from a really small rural town where people never leave and they just become addicted to drugs. So I guess it was like what everyone was doing back then.
So it was not necessarily just peer pressure, but more you were just fitting in. It was something that your friends were doing, and it just seemed right for you to do as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like everyone was doing it back then.
So, what are some things that you've done to help with the substance abuse?
I mean, nothing really. Like I've been like in a jail cell for like the past week and a half, so I've kind of had time to like reflect. But before that, like I was using like almost every day or like sometimes multiple times a day. So I really didn't like reflect until like recently. Like I thought I was just living life.
So you said that you haven't really done many things, but however, are there things that you would like to do? Anything that it comes to mind that you feel that we could work on to help you with your legal substance abuse?
I think kind of just coming to terms with my past is something that I haven't really done. And like I've always just used the drugs as a crutch. But I've never really like truly dealt with the emotions that I felt from my childhood because I've been using different drugs for so long. So I think that's something that like if I worked on like relieving that pressure, I think that would help. And also just like I guess I always wanted to like go to school before I started like becoming really hardcore to drugs. So like being put on like a path to like go to college and like get a career is something that I'd like want to see within my future.
Well, that's really good to hear. It's good to know that you have a set out plan of what you feel like you can do, and I believe that you can do it as well because you seem well determined. How do you feel about thinking of certain plans to, would you be okay with us collaborating and working on plans to help you with legal substance abuse?
Yeah, I think that's something that like I could use, like, since this was like a minor like drug offense, like it's not gonna like it's gonna carry weight, but it's not gonna carry that much weight. So I think just kind of like working on a path to like get me clean so I never have to go through this again is something that like is gonna be really helpful for my future, like my future health as well.
Is there anybody that has helped you with your situation? Have you talked to many people about it, or has it been something, as you said before, you've kind of kept inside, or there's been like maybe a friend or somebody that you've talked to in the past about the situation?
I mean, not really. Like I said, I'm from a very small town where like this is like common. People are doing like meth and heroin and all that. So like my friends are kind of like the ones that got me into this. Like if I stopped doing drugs, if I made like a cleaner life, like I wouldn't have those friends. So no one's really been supportive of like ever wanting to quit because it was what we all did.
How would you feel like your life would be affected if you weren't using drugs anymore?
I feel like if I wasn't like using drugs, like right now, like having not dealt with my past, it would be kind of like sad and lonely. Like I would just have to deal with all those emotions. But I felt like if I like had someone to talk to, someone to help resolve it, like it would be better. Like I would like have a better life. I could have all the things that like my family never had, and that's something that I really want, like a nicer life. Like I would have kids and a husband one day, but I realize I can't have those things if I'm like constantly using drugs.
Like I said, you seem very determined. You understand that the drugs, although you admit that you've liked it at times, it has held you back a little bit, so to speak. And it's good that you are once again making plans and you want to do stuff. And as I said, I'm here to help you with anything. We have plenty of referrals as pertaining. I'm not sure if you would like to do rehab or anything in the future, but we're always here. We have referrals to anything, if that would be okay with you, of course. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think like rehab is definitely like a good like first step, and just like talking about it like will really be helpful. Really like ease me like off of it, so it's not as like you're kind of like on your own and you have nothing anymore. Like I'll have someone to talk to.
And I believe it's good to have a strong support. I think support helps everybody. You need support to fully understand your situation. Sometimes I understand, like you said, you can't do it alone. And like I said, once again, to reiterate, we're here for you. So, is there anything else that you would like to talk about today?
Not really. Like I think like you really like addressed everything that I was like feeling and like kind of like hoped I could like work on. Like we talked about it.
Well, after seeing everything pertaining to your issue with substance abuse, I feel like we can work things out, and if you want to, we could set up another appointment for next week sometime. And I will also talk to Dr. Lees pertaining, and just so you know, it is confidential. I cannot speak about any of this, so this is between you and me. I would just specifically be talking to Dr. Lees about if I should be referred again, and which it's up to you, of course, and I hope that will be all right.
Yeah, I definitely think that could be something.
Okay, well, we can plan all this for next week, and I hope I can see you again.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.